and welcome to another edition of Free the Fig, brought to you by the Coming Down the Aisle podcast. I am your host, Mr. J Bone. Says it right there, somewhere right there, boom, right there. I am the host, J Bone, aka John Swallow. And I'm here to bring you another edition of Free the Fig. It's something a little different, a little special here. Gonna be unboxing the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Bendies. So we'll do like a quick little review of these and kind of just my thoughts on them. As you guys know, I'm going to slowly get into the Bendham world. So I do have some to compare with. So we'll talk about all that. Of course, you can find us at the Coming Down the Aisle podcast on Instagram at Coming Down the Aisle and all the on Instagram, all those great places here. So let me grab a couple of these original Bendums here. We'll use to kind of compare them. So let's get into our Free the Fig. First of all, we'll kind of show off each one real quick. We got the Mark Sterling, of course. Mark Sterling. As I get my box here, the smart Mark Sterling, and position a little bit better. Most professional wrestler Brian Myers. The star of Muppets Most Wanted, Mr. Dylan Postle, aka Swoggle, Swogs, and of course, Mr. Always Ready himself, Matt Cardona. So, we'll start with the Matt Cardona. Actually, I'm gonna kind of go through it. I'll do a quick packaging overview. And then as I'm talking, I'll just go ahead and unpackage the other ones. So clearly, obviously, you got your traditional packaging here. Looks very similar to the packaging from the original Bendums, except here we've got the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast logo. We do have the caricature of Matt Cardona with the Bendies type deal. We got Major Pod Network down here. I like this down here. Ages 18 and up. So this is for adult collectors. And mainly, not that there's anything wrong with these that a child can use. These are mainly from those who grew up in the 90s, mid 90s and above. So let's look at the back real quick. We just have Series 1, as I just laid them out, with the logo right here. Major Bendies, Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, Major Pod Network, which is right there, and then Bendable, Posable, and Collectible is what that says. And then at the bottom, small print, MajorWFPod.com. Also, their podcast art that they have, and it says "Listen Now." So then on here is a replica of the card. Now they actually packaged them separately, and I'll get to that when we get closer. So one unique thing that's going to be to this packaging, much similar to the microballers, is the back just comes out just like that, very magically. Again, on this you see how you have each of the cards that are similar to how the original ones were, but these do not punch out. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. This is actually my first time I'm actually opening these. So we'll punch it out. Trying to slowly get in there. Oh, wow, these are great. So here it is. The Major Bendy. And this is Matt Cardona, of course. Got his traditional trunks, and on the back it has got always ready. And if you notice, one thing that's cool, and if you listen to an interview with Kinnick, he's got the autograph that just like the originals had. The boots, silver and black, kind of differences in that. And then you have the Broski skull, and then the Matt Cardona logos on the other knee pad. Um, super detailed. I mean, as far as the gear and whatnot. And I know a lot of complaints have been, well, what about the face? The face does not look like Matt Cardona. All right. Well, right here, I've got a Series 1 Bret Hart. Actually, we'll even do Razor here. Look at Razor. This is from Series 1, way back in the day. It's a caricature, excuse me, of the individual. So it's not supposed to be completely accurate. Now, one thing I will say, if we look at these off the bat, slightly bigger than what they're supposed to be. If we look at them, okay? I would just say just a tad bit too big, but they're still great. I mean, if I'm going to criticize anything, that would probably be my one thing I would have to say. That these are just a little bit bigger. Actually, let's look at this Bret Hart. Razor's not actually a really good example now I'm looking at him because, anyways. Well, here's Bret Hart going against Broski here. Just that's actually a little bit better though. But these are supposed to be more like along the line of the Series 1. I don't know what's wrong with that razor. Maybe that's a defect in that razor. But I don't know. I would say maybe just a tad too big. That would be just my criticism of it. But I mean, other than that, everything looks great. Super bendable, just like as they say, right? So these will go really great with the Series 1 up until I believe it's Series 5 or 6. Not quite all sure offhand. At some point, they kind of started getting smaller. In fact, I got in here because I've been buying so many. I've got or Cactus Jack, excuse me, Cactus Jack to kind of show off real quick what they ended up becoming later down the road. This is a Cactus Jack. Yeah, let's see a lot smaller on this Cactus Jack. Look at the Broski, of course. Like I said, this is supposed to be more like Series 1. And then this is a Series 1 Bret. Lot bigger. So, this is the shoulders, the chest, the abs. They're all supposed to be just real large. Kind of almost disproportionate in some ways a little bit. So they're not meant to be like super accurate. They're meant to be more accurate with Series 1 than just an accurate action figure. So great job on that Matt Cardona. And like I said, the beauty thing is these can just be repackaged. So if you are a mint on card collector, or if down the road you just want to collect them, you want to get Broski to sign them, we got the insert right here. We're gonna put them back in, just like that. Kind of bend them out of shape a little bit, and then we're gonna take our other insert, just go in like that, and all you gotta do, oops, it is a lot easier, trust me. So I have taken these out. And done. So now it's back on card. So, real quick, I'm going to kind of talk about the others. We got the most professional Brian Myers. It's kind of the same thing. The back's all the same, except, of course, the card is Brian Myers. This is great. And this is kind of my first look at him. Brian Myers right there up close. I think Brian is probably, my favorite out of the bunch. Great look. This is actually his FWF2 gear. So the orange and black. And he also used this at Bound for Glory, I believe, as well, too. Again, for comparison purposes, you got the Bret. That actually looks really good, actually. So I may actually, now that I'm looking at it, I may actually go back on my original criticism, honestly. So that's pretty good. And Bret and Brian are actually pretty close in stature, if I'm not mistaken. So, boom, there you go. There's the Brian. I'm quickly, I'm going to kind of leave him out for now. Just leave this in here. Swoggle. So Swoggle's a little, a little different, obviously. As far as size and stuff, but it appears to me that what they did was they took his actual size and made it proportionate to how they were going to do the standard, guys here. So, real quick, here's Brian and Swoggle together. I mean, it looks pretty darn good. So, real quick, we got the Swoggle in the back there, along with his skull. And then, and his other gear. Whoopsie. Right there. There's a close up on face of the S on the Swoggle on his chest there. And the last one, last but not least, Mr. Smart Mark Sterling, the lawyer of the group. So this one it's a combination of a gear, I believe. I mean, it's most recognizable as whenever he faced Jon Moxley on AEW Dynamite. But there you go. There's the red jumpsuit looking thing with the shorts, star shorts. And then on the back, it has all of his degrees. So I'll read them off. BS, BA, BA, JD, MS, MFA, and MBA. He's definitely he's a master. He's the smartest guy I know. Quick comparison to him and the Bret Hart again. Face them off. Look at that, huh? Pretty good, actually. So, again, I'm going to go back on my original criticism. Now I actually have them in hand and looking at them. In the package, they look a little bit too big. But honestly, I think that's kind of an unfair criticism, I'll be honest. So, I'm actually going to keep these out here. I'm going to take the Cardona back out for some pictures that I'll take. So, and also, I'm so sorry as well when I actually break this off. So, all of these also have the autograph. There's the Brian. The smart mark is right here in the on his shoulder, right there. Let's see, it's kind of hard to see. And then the swoggle is also on his back, if you can see that. So, great addition. In fact, if you listen to my interview with Kinnick on the regular podcast, he talks about the idea and who came up with the idea and all that good stuff. So that is the official Series 1 They have announced Series 1B, I guess if you want to call it, like Connect says 1.5, which is the My World. That's going to have two Jeff Jarrett's and the Conrad Thompson. And then Series 2 will include Brian Pillman, Danhausen, Nick Gage, and Adam Baum. Adam Baum. And Adam Baum is going to be represented by the unreleased prototype that's kind of been surrounded out there. So, again, if you're listening to this now, these will be available December 24th. The price point looks like it's going to be $100, I believe. I think they're going to keep that the same if I'm not mistaken. You do have to buy the whole set, and so there's no individuals you can buy. Just that's mainly because they didn't want to keep any stragglers around, and it makes sense. They're not really a toy company, They're podcasts who talk about toys. Definitely check out my interview with Kinnick again, like I mentioned, and it's on the regular feed. Check us out on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere else get your podcast. Give us a follow at Coming Down the Aisle on Instagram and Twitter, down_aisle. Or also, of course, here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and we're also on Facebook as well too. If you're a Facebook user as well, just search Coming Down the Aisle on that as well too. That is going to conclude this edition of Free the Fig. Until next week, folks, we will catch y'all on the flippity flip. Peace.